Oh, we
3,
are
2,
live. Hey, what up, y'all? We made it.
it's Sunday,
It took us
Sunday.
a little bit of time to get here, so we have a couple things that we need to do before we started. So I need to share on
Mhm.
Facebook and make sure that the folks are coming. Um, so we are streaming on Facebook and YouTube today. So trying to make sure we get everybody in the room, you know?
Everybody informed.
So give us just a second. How's your sleep going today?
You
What you
know,
got going
I
on?
think it's going through a lot.
Oh,
I mean, mostly good stuff. Just, trying to get aligned, figuring out the best way to help people, what people's plans are.
right.
I think that's probably taking the most space aside from just my normal my stuff.
Uh-huh.
uh,
I can relate.
yeah. So
I can definitely relate to that.
yeah.
Yeah, I think for today is feeling
Right.
I don't
Exactly.
really know.
Exactly.
It feels different than it felt yesterday.
Well, that better.
Better, different, sure, lighter,
Like, okay,
lighter. Yeah.
that's what's
So
up.
I'll start there, and then I'll try to have the brain people continue to
Ramp it
help.
up.
Yeah. So okay. So we got the thing shared on Facebook. We're streaming on YouTube. And y'all are here with us. So if you will go ahead and well, go ahead and start saying hi in the comments. Let us know where you're coming from, all the things. Some really important announcements that I should probably bring up so that
Yeah.
I'm able to actually read them. So yeah.
We are here, guys.
Yep.
We are
Yeah.
here.
Okay. So let me try to find it. Hold on. Hold on.
It's coming. There we
Look, I'm like, what? I have so many profiles.
go.
Okay, okay, but I do want to give a. This was not in the thing, but I do want to give a update because I did something and I hurt my foot.
So
So,
you got your foot and your hamstring?
oh man, it's probably connected
Yeah,
because
that.
it's the same leg. Is it the same leg?
Oh.
No, I think that's the leg. Anyway, so this is a 40 over 40 problems. Okay, so if you're not 40 yet, then
Congrats.
this is
Keep
your
living.
time to
Keep
understand
living.
what's coming.
Keep living. It's on the way. We thought we had escaped it. It just was a little later. That's all.
So, anytime I point my foot,
Uh-huh.
it's a shooting pain, like along the side here, and I have no idea what happened, what I did, whatever. To the point that the other day I was walking down some stairs,
Uh-huh.
and I don't know. Do you point your feet when you walk, consciously or unconsciously? You don't
Must
really
not be
know.
conscious.
I don't know.
I just be walking.
So when especially when going downstairs, I usually like point my foot like I'm going down the stairs.
Is there a reason?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I thought about this. That's okay. I don't know. I have no idea. But this is the thing. This is how I figured out that I point my feet when I go down the stairs
Okay.
because when I did it, it hurt. So then I
Oh,
had to consciously flex my
that's
feet
not
going down the stairs, and I was like, "This is definitely not how I
this
usually
is
go
not how I
down the
normally
stairs."
walk.
Yeah. So then I was like, I must point my feet when I go down the stairs.
Hmm.
But it hurt. I don't know what happened. I don't even know how to really describe it. But what I do know is that it hurts. So now I got to find a doctor to check out my
Why?
foot
Yeah.
muscle
Yes, indeed. So
and
how
be
you
able.
gonna describe that?
Um, cuando, um, cuando hago
Mm-hmm.
yo tengo un dolor mucho in mi país.
Okay.
Is one foot país?
See.
País, maybe. But I'm gonna point at it.
Right.
So the
There's the context.
entonces uh, aquí, a- allá.
Okay. Okay.
Also, you give great high fives. Tell people the secret because every time we high five, I be like, you give amazing high fives. So tell them your secret. Giving great high fives.
Well,
Y'all know the secret. If
did
you
you
know
know
it,
that there was a secret? Because there is. So the secret is when you go to high five someone, you look at their elbow and then you connect. I don't know the science behind it. I don't know the math behind it, but that is the magic. But at the same time, I also don't know that I look at someone's elbow
because
when
I
I
don't feel
high
like I
five.
did. I looked at your hand, but I was like, maybe she was looking at my elbow. So then that's how. But I don't know. You give amazing high five.
Well, thank you, Boo.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's really cool. So get your high five game up.
Hey now.
Okay. All right. So that was a little chit chat. In the future, that'll be like in black and white. Be like, hold on, I'm trying to get and I'll be starting for real.
Like this is now.
Right. Hey y'all. Well,
It's Sunday. The 7th.
I've been setting fires out all day. Last night, all day, saying November 16th. And then probably about 20 minutes ago, I was like, hey, today's actually the 17th. So today is Sunday, November 17th. And welcome to So You Don't Put Syrup on Your Grilled Cheese. We are two real life cousins, and we're here to talk about the things that we thought were normal in our family, like putting syrup on grilled cheese. And we actually found out that a lot of it was dysfunctional and trauma. So we're here to unpack all of that and talk about the things that we usually don't talk about in our families and just give it voice and talk about healing and mental health and all of the things that we all are experiencing, but we seldom talk about. So we bringing y'all along for the journey, where we are here to discover, we're laughing, and hopefully you get a little bit of healing, by the time you leave us from out of here. So thank y'all for joining us. So my name is Kim Berlin, Thailand, house of
I just like the way it builds. Kim, Berlin, Thailand, house of.
Let me explain because also, this is what I was going to tell you. ADHD is a
No worries.
So this is what I was going to tell you that there was an influx of followers on Instagram, and they said one person in particular, but I'm not quite sure how the other people found us. But one person in particular said it's 11:11, amen. That wow, that just hit real deep. So he said he was on another post or something. Actually, let me not lie. Let me not lie. Hold on. I don't like to misquote people. I like to have so un momento. I'm gonna tell you exactly what he said. Because it was like 20 people or something that came over.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, well, who's this y'all? Thank you. Where y'all coming from? What's your to me, right? Okay, so he said, found you based on a Black SEC group question about, okay, found you based on a Black SEC group question about contemplating a decision to leave the States. A friend of yours suggested this IG, and I'm glad that they did. Following, here's to your continued healing. This one post has already been divinely received.
Oh wow! What post was it?
So this was my 3-year anniversary post.
Oh.
So, in that post, I was just talking about how I never saw for myself to be like burn the hell out every day. Like that's not the life that I ever really wanted. And I just kept seeing that it was heading towards that. So that's like why I left. It was like, I don't want to do this.
Thank you, I'm out.
Y'all had us
all bad.
I'm great. I came, so I got the t-shirt and also I'm out of here. So it was that post. So yeah, I don't know if it's group or whatever. I guess I can message her maybe. I don't know. Hey, just
so we can join the group too. Like, where they came from.
Correct.
I think that's a testament to your vulnerability, just putting yourself out there. I think that's what people
I
definitely
keep
resonate
hearing people say that. It doesn't. I guess I don't really know any other way to be.
with. That's
So
good.
it feels very normal to me. So when people are like, because even with my psychologist, when I had first started with her,
Mhm.
she was like, "You are really, really transparent. Like you
Uh-huh.
just say the things." And I was like, "Well,
Should
yeah.
be.
Like,
Nah,
ain't I here to get help? Like I
you
need
need
you
to
to
know
know
everything, right?
this. It's a lot."
That's when people go to therapy and sometimes
But that's it because I'm religious.
defeats the purpose. I know. That's the truth. Your therapist needs to know.
How else does I'm
You
getting
know,
help?
side note, I feel like it's so much easier to be honest with a stranger than it is with
For
someone who knows
sure.
you because there is no judgment and like
They don't even know you.
they don't know
And
you
they can feel however they want to feel after this
after you get
interaction.
this out,
Yeah.
So it's your
Is that
time.
how people be like at the bar
Telling all
when
your
you say
business.
everything and like, what?
Let me tell you,
I just cheated on such and such. And like, you be,
oh,
oh,
yeah.
wow. Maybe that's why.
That's again.
Because they need to get it out.
And
And they can't really tell anybody that they know because they'll be judged. So
Right.
it's like, let me
I
just
can
tell
let
this
it out.
person.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
So
wild. That's really wild.
I think
Oh, this is okay. We're gonna so let me it's a lot going on. I promise we're gonna get back to introducing ourselves, but I want wow. Is this a touch screen?
no.
Oh it's not. No. How is this open?
What you mean?
Oh my god, this is crazy. Okay, so let me tell you what opened.
Okay.
When I first started therapy and I was learning about boundaries,
Uh-huh.
right? I had this therapist, it was actually a white lady.
Uh-huh.
And my only requirement at that time was that the person was a Christian. Now I would have a whole lot of caveats on that, right? But I just needed them to understand when I was talking about God, because at this time I was involved in church.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? So I needed them to know the Lord. You
Yeah,
know?
amen.
So um, she introduced me to boundaries, and basically what she said, she was like, "Girl, you have." She didn't say like, I'm blacking it.
Because I was like, oh, well, that makes a little more sense why. And you were like, hold on. That was me.
No.
Oh,
This is the blackened Kimberland version. Okay, so she was like, "Girl," and I don't know what I was telling her about, but whatever I was telling her about, she was like, "Hey, sis, I just want you to know that you have a sign over your head that says if it's broken, Kimberland will fix it." And I was like, "Oh God,
and it's not turned off.
if we're about to turn that off, I'm gonna lie, right?" So then, she said, asked me about boundaries. Have you ever heard of boundaries? And I was like a divider between somebody's property or something,
Right.
like the
What do you?
concept of boundaries. Sure, I guess. So then she was like, okay. So she gives me this document, and it was called the Personal Bill of Rights. And this is what just opened up. Okay, I used to keep a copy. So this book boundaries, I travel with it. I used to keep a copy in here, but I think I lost it. So, this was one of the first things that she shared with me, um, that allowed me to understand that I have rights and that I have been infringing on other people's rights. So I don't know why this is open like this. It has a window and it's like take a tour, and I don't want to navigate away from it because I want to make sure I read whatever is here.
Yeah.
But the first one says, I have a right to ask for what I want. I have the right to say I don't know. I have the right not to give excuses or reasons for my behavior. I have the right to make decisions based on my feelings. I have the right to own my personal space and time. I have the right to be playful. I have the right to be healthier than those around me. I have the right to feel safe and be in a non-abusive environment. And there are several more that are in here that are covered up. Why did this just open on this computer and where this came from?
At 11:11, while you were talking about vulnerability, because that's what the people needed to hear.
Girl,
Let him use you. Let him use you, sis.
That was wild. Okay, so now I don't know how we would tell our editor to edit this. We'll just be like, listen, the thing. So anyway, that was a very, very interesting situation. I'm wondering how you received that though.
Me?
Yeah.
Um, well, all of those sound great, especially the have a right to not know. Is the way my poor little brain be overthinking and contorting itself to find out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I've been working on is just saying, I don't have enough information to make that
Mm-hmm.
decision, that being okay,
Mm-hmm.
and not making it until I get that information instead of trying to use all of the different scenarios that I've created in my head.
Mm-hmm.
So that's super powerful. Um, I think just giving yourself permission to allow certain access to you and not
Mm-hmm.
have to feel like you have to give an excuse, give a reason, and just be like, this is what's good for me right now, and that's it, No is a full sentence. All the things that you hear and see and that people tell you, it's a reason, It's like it's for your protection.
Mm-hmm.
But we've been so used to, oh, that's Shanti, go give her a hug.
Mm-hmm.
Your autonomy be
Right.
damned
Right.
because this is what makes people feel
Mm-hmm.
comfortable. But what about what makes me feel
Right.
comfortable?
Mm-hmm.
I think a personal bill of rights, that's pretty
It's a
exciting.
thing. It's a thing,
I
and
had never heard of
I hadn't either. But it's the first thing that she gave me,
it.
and I remember sitting with it for a while because, like I said, it's when I realized that I had rights, but also that I had been infringing on other
Mhm,
people's rights. Because I used to get very, very upset if I asked someone a question and they were like, "I don't want to answer that,"
uh,
or whatever, and I would be like, "What the hell you mean? I asked you a question, answer my question." And then I found out I also had the right to not answer questions.
right.
And then, baby, I went on the right street and said, "And what else can I do or not do?" So I was like, I was stop doing that. And also,
Right.
okay, uh, no, I said what I said. I remember going home and telling my mama about it.
Yeah,
Or I was sitting at the kitchen counter and I was like, because it was saying right here that Jesus went into the wilderness to be able to get some rest. Hallelujah. But I have like
look
used this way. I
out.
need to read it again. I used to try to read it every year. Excuse me, I haven't in a while. But I need to read it again. One of the things I just saw in here: be proactive, not reactive.
Mhm.
Amen.
Amen.
Hallelujah. All right. So that word was for whoever was supposed to get that. You're welcome.
Yeah, I hope you received
You're
it.
welcome. And
The
spread
spirit
the
in
wealth.
which it was
And spread the wealth. All right. So, like I was saying, my name is Sarah. Also, my
given.
name is and also my name is Kimberland Silent. That's why I introduce myself like that because there are certain people that know me as Kim. There are some people that know me as Kimberland, and then I'm saying my whole name. So my name is Kimberland Thailand, House of Jackson, O'Neill, and Adams, empathetic energizer, intuitive, inspirational innovator, seer of souls who are hurting, healer of hearts, and voice to the voiceless.
Amen. Oscar shit.
That was like the longest intro ever.
It's, I mean, and it still doesn't capture everything that is Kimberland
Oh, you're the best. I appreciate
Island. um, I am Kalonda. Monique, no one calls me that. House of Jackson, first of her name. What am I? Assistant to entrepreneurs, executive. I don't know. Maybe that's what I just changed that to.
it.
Speaking of banter, creator of content, dancer of dreams, excellent enchantress, and Nola Nate.
Hey y'all, we're the host.
Hi.
We be talking.
We do
Welcome.
a lot. But funny enough, you should see us actively avoiding talking to each other before shows because we're like literally in the kitchen. She's like, "I'll wait," and that was how we got that earlier
because
part.
I was gonna tell her about the people that came, and I was like, it's a longer story. I didn't want to just be like, it's a whole bunch of people came. You'd be like, oh, that's nice.
And you're like,
And do it
yeah.
So that unfolded the way
it
it became unfolded. See?
yeah. And then the universe sent us the document review. Look up. So now that we have finally introduced ourselves 20 minutes into our podcast, we also want you to know what you can expect from us while you're here. So first and foremost, transparency. We are not experts in everything. Now, there are definitely things that we are experts in, and we will pop our shit about that and let you know what it is. But there are definitely things that we don't know the answers to, and we rely on you as a part of our community. Drop down in the comments, give us some feedback, tell us whatever the answers are that we're looking for, and let us know what things you didn't know. Like, did you know about a personal bill of rights? Is it something that you would consider doing for yourself? Is that missing in your life? And then secondly, have a good time. We are fucking funny.
Hilarious.
And we curse. So that may happen. Enjoy. They say people who curse are more intelligent. That's what
I have heard that, and I believe that.
I believe it too.
We do.
Because sometimes you use it appropriately. That's why I love when kids curse and they use it in the right context.
I be impressed.
I find it very hard to impressed.
I really do. I was like, you strung them together so nice.
Like, that is exactly how I would have said that. Nice. High five. Anyway, each one teach one, right? So what we expect from you is just being willing to go through this journey with us. I don't know, ask us any questions, continue to interact in the comments, like, subscribe, super free way to help support us. Share with your friends, another way to help support us grow this community. It's free. And just tell people it's a great time. It's somewhere to come to talk about things that people don't talk about. We got here, and there's a lot of shit we are just learning on the fly that people knew about. And y'all should know that. So we want to help you not have to go through that long process. Like, you can get through it a lot faster than we. Sound good?
Amazing. So, want to make sure that you are going to say hi in the comments if you are watching live. If you're watching this on the replay, still say hi, y'all, and hashtag gang gang replay guys. Okay, let us know. But I do have some announcements that I want to share. Oh, we forgot to mention Patreon.
And I'm so sorry.
Oh, and our oh gosh, so much. Okay, so first of all, this is our last show this year.
Yeah. That's what's going on.
Child, we started at the top of this of talking about, you were saying like how your spirit was feeling. I was saying my spirit feels a little bit better, and we're gonna get like to that in a minute in our transparency moment. But it's becoming very evident to me that my brain space is being taken up by some other priorities right now. So it's like, okay, let's pause this. Let's practice what we preach.
Right.
And honor what's happening right now, as opposed to just trying to push through and do something just to be doing it. I don't like to do anything just to be doing it, right? So that's wanted to make that announcement. But also, though this is our last live podcast, where we will still be is over on the Patreon.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the Patreon, that is where you get behind the scenes access. Chat with us. You can ask us questions. You get first notifications about things that are happening. You get access to vlogs. We will still be over there. Child. Happy Sunday. If something happened out here, I just hope they're not knocking down the building.
Oh my word.
Something's going on. At any rate. But that's a place where we will be until we come back here to the public spaces in January. And I will say January is going to be interesting because a lot of the world is going to be changing due to the presidential election in the U.S. So we are going to be watching what that looks like, but we don't have a solid date of when we're coming back.
Correct.
Because it's a lot of factors that go into that and what we do. So wanted to make that announcement. So Patreon is only $5 a month. If you want to get more than that, you can, and we absolutely appreciate it. But it is only $5 a month, and that is about $60 a year. And it does us a really big help. It's the community that we're building of people. It's not just about us. It really is about building the actual community. So it's a place to come and find like-minded people. It's a place to come and talk about healing. It's a place to be able to be your full self where there is no judgment. It's a place that you get to hang out with us. So we hope that you will join us over there on the Patreon. Okay.
Amen.
All right. So quickly, we want to do our emojis because this is important and it's coming up a lot lately.
Yes.
So we have emojis because emojis is like having like a super symbol or something, right? And so my emojis are the sunflower and so yellow is my favorite color. It makes me happy. It feels like the sun. My glasses are yellow. My purse is yellow. Like I try to wear yellow as often as I can. And sunflowers, I found out I think 2 shows ago, are the symbol for invisible disabilities, which I feel like I'm the poster child for a lot of days. But sunflowers also represent the sun. They turn towards the sun. They look for that joy and that brightness. So that's why I like it. And then the crayon because I spent a lot of my life in black and white, and I have made a conscious decision to be bolder and more thinking about life. So I want to just color the fuck out of my life, and the crayon represents that. So when you see us out in these virtual streets,
Yeah.
drop some sunflowers, drop some crayons. That's letting me know that you know that we here. Okay. So
Well, I have as well. So ladybug and a blue heart. Cobalt blue is my absolute favorite color. And I'm just committed to finding love and loving out loud. I don't have to question um, like what the intent is or what the direction is. Just being free to be that. So definitely looking for that in life. Also, with the ladybugs, they follow me. I haven't seen them as much now that I'm here. They were
it
definitely
was like
like
they were guiding
a
you here.
conduit to get here. But they are a symbol of good luck and change. And they definitely saw me through this whole process of moving my life from New Orleans to Medellin or from wherever I'm going. But so this step definitely.
Did we say that?
Oh yeah, we are in Medellin, Colombia.
In South America.
In South America. I've been here since the end of August. Um, Fingers crossed, everybody send out prayers, waiting on an extension. Um, and then the ladybugs guided me here. I would see them all the time, guiding me through the process of selling my home, getting moved out here, navigating any of the hiccups that came up along the way. And then once I got here, it was literally one ladybug chilling on my window, like a little welcoming committee.
You made it, girl.
And I haven't seen them since. Wow. And now they've been replaced with hummingbirds. And they are showing out for real. So
Kalonda's the black and white. So animals follow her. It's the cutest thing. They say that when animals are drawn to you, that means you have a good spirit. Like they, because animals are fooling with just the right. Yeah, yeah. See, so that's pretty dope. So again, when y'all see us out here in virtual streets, drop the emoji. Okay. As a matter of fact, we're gonna drop something. Okay, if you're watching, some sunflower crayons, really good blue hearts. All right, so we have some quick announcements that we want to make. We said this is our last show, so we are coming back in January, and at that time, we are going to start our internship program. So if you are a person who is between the ages of 18 to 24, it is okay if you are outside these ages, but this is the main range that we have some positions listed here on the screen. We're looking for editors, producers, video engineers, sound engineers, chat moderators, social media managers, virtual assistants, and graphic designers, and anything else that might not be mentioned that you're like, I am in scope and space of creating content, and I want to know about those things. We want you to reach out to us. So what you can do is go to URL.com slash, so you don't put this on your grilled cheese, the acronym intern app. Okay, and it's on the here. There's also a QR code. You can pause this and go ahead and enter the QR code, and it will take you to the form. So we're really trying to go ahead get the applications in so we can make our decisions by January. So please do, if you are in the area of content creation, any of these positions, please do reach out to us. The other thing is we have a segment called Ask An Auntie. And like we just mentioned a little bit ago, we ain't know stuff and we finding out just right now. So we don't want to do that to y'all coming up behind us, right? So this is your opportunity to ask questions about the things,
Yeah,
okay?
pretend we're the person at the bar. You could.
That's a good analogy. Uh, job. That's a good analogy. Yeah, we'll be the person at the bar just sitting on the stool next to you, and you can just no judgment. You can remain anonymous if you want, or you can share your name. It's fine, like whatever that looks like. But we want to make sure that we are sharing throughout. So, tinyurl.com/ask an auntie is how you can get to that form and make submissions for that. Okay, all right. And then the last thing is, if you want to be a guest on the show, that is possible. Number one, you do have to put syrup on your grilled cheese and
Amen.
take
Please.
okay. It is required because y'all be out here turning your noses up and you ain't never even had.
Don't even.
Okay, they ain't never even been able to bless your life,
Yeah.
So you have to taste their on your groceries. But send us an email at mindmyblackbusiness@gmail.com with the subject "Let Me on there," and we will reach out to you so that you are able to be on our show. All right. All right. So I think that is all,
Yeah.
and we doing everything all out of it, all it's our show. So if we want, we can do that.
Amen.
All right. So thank y'all for being here for the tips and the shenanigans.
Amen.
All right. So where should we do rock, paper, scissors for our ESP or what?
No, I think you can go first. Or did you go first?
I think I did go first.
I'll go first.
Okay, fine. Also, that's last week.
No, it's not.
It's not. You have the wrong one. Okay, but no worries. No worries.
I just didn't change the date.
That's
Episode.
okay. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Anyway, because that was in. What is it? So, yes, indeed, our update. So we haven't seen you guys technically since the election.
Because the Sunday, our last show was the Sunday before the
Correct.
election. Correct.
So, one, I'm wondering how you guys are feeling about that. I know we've been having conversations with people just, throughout, but just for you guys in the comments, especially, if you can just tell us like, what's on your mind, how's it going. Take a second to really tap in and see how you're feeling with this. It's been very interesting kind of hearing a lot of the business as usual sentiment that it seems like a lot of people have going on right now, which I find very interesting.
That's the best word I could think of.
Interesting,
Yeah.
because I am concerned, not scared, not like fearful, but I am concerned. When we look at history and its tendency to repeat itself, especially in political cycles, some of the things that are being proposed and put in motion, aside from proposed, things that are actually being done, I'm concerned for the people that are still there. And by there, I mean in the United States, because we are an international show. So to be specific, I'm concerned about that. I'm concerned about the people there. And I know how it was received when I was talking about leaving. And people didn't understand. And I would say, in addition to just, mental stability and quality of life, cost of living, those, then on top of that, the political climate that we were going to be moving into, regardless of who won, that I really didn't want to be there for that. And now that we're on the other side of the election, I am very happy that I made the decision that I made. That now brings up new concerns of the people that are still there. You know, what I know we asked last time, what is the plan? But I even still feel like when we asked, people weren't thinking.
They said pray.
Right. Like they weren't thinking that you may actually have to do something different.
Right,
Um,
right.
there is a system being put in place that is going to make it unsustainable for you to live comfortably and for you to exist in the same way that you have. And not to say that we were living in a very comfortable situation
Correct.
in the first place. Um, so just getting really honest about what it is that you're looking for in your life, and how do you want that to look, and how do you want to exist with people around you. Um, I often liken Kim to a Harriet Tubman, Expat Express, Underground Railroad type situation. But for real, like I feel like this call to get people out. I don't care where you go. I don't care what you wind up doing. But I do hope that there is something that opens your eyes before it's too late, to make you or to help you see that there are other options. That some of them, not some, the information that you're receiving about these other countries is not correct. Like the propaganda of it being not safe, not developed, like it's just not true. And you can have, in some cases, a better quality of life in another country, but people just aren't open or even thinking of that as an option. So that's the first update. My second update also comes with a question for you and the video.
Okay. I'm
So
wait,
go
I'm
ahead.
wondering, should I go ahead and talk about
Yeah.
well, because it goes right
Okay.
along with what you were saying. So, when you were just talking about the propaganda
Mm-hmm.
of the things that are shared about different countries. So I have been accepting more podcast invitations because we are actively helping people who are ready to make a different choice
Mm-hmm.
and are ready to shift their lives and build a new life. And the biases that I have been confronted with have been, I can't say shocking because I'm not necessarily shocked,
Hmm.
but disappointed
Yeah.
maybe because many of the biases are coming out of communities of people who consider themselves to be expats and people who consider themselves to be well traveled and cultured and are actively holding beliefs that are lies about people in other countries.
Yeah.
And it's really important to me that, especially as Black people, so professionally, I work as a school climate and culture specialist, a school improvement specialist, and much of my work is in DEI spaces, which we know have been basically outlawed
Right.
in the U.S. And um, that doesn't mean it's not necessary. That just
Correct.
means they don't want us to be doing
To
it,
do
right? But those are the types of conversations I have about bias. One of the most difficult populations that I talk to is us, Black
it.
people, because we think for some reason that because we are Black and that we have been oppressed,
We can't
that
be
we don't have the ability to oppress other people.
Mhm.
And it wows me every time. And this is what I want to make a public statement. I'm gonna call you on your bias. You're not about to just say something crazy and me just be like, mm-mm. I'm gonna call you out on your bias. So it would behoove you to check your own self before you come have a conversation with me with limited understanding and operating out of ignorance. Because if you do, I am going to call you on it. And it's not in a place of trying to embarrass you, but it is a place of that is not correct. And what we're not gonna do is perpetuate stereotypes
Mhm.
about people. We're not doing that at all. Not over here.
Right.
Okay. So that was so interesting. Like, and it really like
And it's from what quote unquote well-meaning people, but like they don't
but
hear
that's how
into the
bias works.
harm, right?
That's
Into
how
the harm
harm
that
that
it
it causes.
causes.
Yeah.
And it's like we're at a point that biases anything that really you have to be sensitive now to like challenge these things because when you don't, we see what the result has been.
Correct.
And at this point, silence is acceptable.
Correct.
So
Correct.
be a part of the change.
Yeah. So y'all tell us how y'all are processing, what's going on in the US. Cause child, we have been in here being like,
what?
What?
Like we're not even there. We don't have kids. Like y'all people have children. Like you have kids. And that would be very concerning to me to hear that they're talking about this man's.
But that's how people are saying that they're staying. Which is like, well, I got kids, so I can't just up and leave. If you don't know that children go to school outside, I don't see. That's what I mean. Is I think because of the type of programming that we've gotten in the U.S., we don't think about what people do in other countries. Like we never consider it. I was talking to one of my interns, and she's from Barbados, and she was telling me how she had gone to church, and the pastor, she's in. So she's an immigrant, right? And what's the first thing on the docket? They want to talk about deporting immigrants, everybody else. So she's trying to make sure she's straight. So she said, "Yeah, I went to church today," and I said, "Well, what did they say?"
Right.
And she said the pastor told them, "Oh, everything is fine. You don't have anything to worry about. You got your papers. Everything is fine, and keep giving because God blesses a cheerful giver."
Amen.
I said,
"Wow,
oh, sis, we need some."
Right.
And I had to show her, you know what I showed her? The January 6th. Because I was like, because she kept saying, well, maybe he'll change his mind. And I said, who?
Why would he change his mind?
But because she's not from the US, she's not well versed in US history. Right? So I'm like, you ever heard of Emmett Till? You ever heard of it? And she was like, kind of. The same way, I hated history growing up.
Right.
I wasn't worrying about none of that stuff that people was talking about in other countries. Because why? America's the best. America, So like, why would I ever consider what's happening anywhere else? So anyway, she was saying that she's in grad school, so she had gone to talk to one of the professors, and she was like, it seems like they just don't care. And I was like, well, it might not be that they don't care. I said, what I need to understand is that the educational system in the US and the way that we are brought up from children, I want you to pay attention. Okay. So the way that we are brought up, we are not brought up to consider that there are even other countries. Like the US is the world.
Right.
Everybody wants to be here.
Right.
Why would you ever want to go anywhere else? This is the best place ever. I said, so the way that things are framed for us is not with the global understanding.
No.
Even the way that people would teach world history, they would stand there with a damn yardstick and just point at countries. Right. I don't care about Constantinople. I don't care. Is it even a country? I don't know. Like it was just a lot, So anyway, so I was telling her, I'm like, you're from Barbados. That is an island. You all were raised with a global understanding because you're dependent on other countries, and you have to make sure that you have good relations with other countries. The U.S. does not ever have to do that. So I'm like, it's not that they don't care, it's that we're conditioned not to even consider. And I explained to her, I said, when I realized how bias works or how you can be completely ignorant of somebody else's struggle is when I moved to Pennsylvania. And I was living near to the Susquehanna River. And I was walking on the river one day and I was reading the sign and it said Susquehanna. And I was like, Susquehanna? That sounds indigenous. And then all of a sudden, all of these random ass facts that I had learned in these history classes came back. And I was like, wait, there were people here. There were people here already. And the colonizers that we were taught were the forefathers
built a great nation so we can all be who we want to be and have free choice.
Like they came here and murdered people that were here, so it was like all of that came rushing back to me, and I said on that day, that was in 2020, I was like, you finna educate yourself, sis, because what you not about to do is just be out here unaware that people are suffering, and you thinking you doing the good work of the Lord, you could be helping me. Like I made a commitment that day. So anyway, it helped me to understand my bias. So I'm trying to frame that for her, right? So I
Mhm.
said, let me show you something. So I showed her the January 6th. Uh,
Exactly.
uh-huh.
Mhm.
And she was like, I have chills. I don't, oh my God. I said, oh, this was in 2021, love. This was just 3 years ago, sis. Like, this just
These
happened.
people are still like this is
Very
very
much.
much happening.
It is very much like that. So after all of that, I told her, and this is what I'm gonna say to you all. I invite you to make a plan, one to stay and one to go.
Mhm.
Right? Um, and the time is ticking for going.
Yeah,
Okay. Because I don't know what that's gonna look like
because
come
we're
January.
right. People are assuming that we will be able to be, if you're in the States, that you'll be able to leave
Right,
freely.
right,
Because I definitely had somebody frame it of, this wall that you want built, you think it's to keep people out. What if it turns into something that's meant to keep people in? So don't always assume that
right,
you'll have the ability to leave. And then the other side of that is assuming that other countries will let you in. Because again, talking about having good relations and good relationships, you know, that's debatable. So the freedom that the United States passport allows you right now
mhm,
may not always be the
mhm,
same, and those change on a dime. They don't
mhm.
have to wait for an election period
Correct.
to make that change.
For example, Brazil have recently changed. They decided not to do it activated, but they have recently changed their requirements
Mhm.
and said that you had to have like a certain amount of money to even be able to get a visa.
Mm,
Because they were like, y'all making it difficult. And this was in the document, like the US making it difficult for us to come there. So guess what? In order for you to come here, you need to have 6 months
mhm.
of what someone would earn here.
Right.
Yeah. So it will change. So we just want to what up, cuz? We just want to make sure that y'all are not sticking your heads in the sand and
Right.
that y'all are actually honoring the reality
Correct.
of the things that are happening right now.
Yeah.
All right. So that
So
was your number one. So what is your
number
other?
two, and number two has a question
Okay.
for people in the chat and for you.
Okay.
Um, how many? Okay, so there's two schools of thought on this. So I'm
Okay.
gonna see if it even applies. Um, so one school of thought is when people are doing things that are harmful, like it's better to be aware of what they're doing, or do you remove them out of your orbit? So keeping that in mind, how many people or have you unfriended, blocked since the election based on um, their affiliation or their I don't even know what else to call it.
Well,
Their
I had already been doing a sweep.
yeah. I mean, they've been making themselves known for
Yeah, every time. I don't know account. I know there are a couple. I had a former student, and I was like, "Whoa, whoa, all right, well, God bless you." Had to go ahead on and release that, but I had I've been doing this whole time. So anytime I do things,
Mhm.
I'm just look,
Not
don't need
that.
to have that.
Energy.
So I am not team. I would rather not know. I am. I want to know where. I need to know where you stand because if you're not a safe person,
Mhm.
I don't need you in my
So
orbit.
does that mean you block them or you keep them? Because some people are saying like, "Oh, if they have problematic views, I'm not going to block them. I need to see what they're saying and thinking and disseminating."
I feel like I gather that information. I think I gather that information in different ways.
Got it.
So, for instance, when you're saying block and keep, I'm thinking Facebook in my mind,
Yeah,
right?
social media, someone
So, and
right.
Facebook particularly,
Uh-huh.
because the way that I exist on Facebook is different than
Right.
how I exist on other platforms,
Right.
right? So, on Facebook, this is a place where most of the people that are on my page I know in
Correct.
right?
Right.
So, I do not want people to have access to me that are harmful.
Right.
So that is why they are blocked.
Right.
in the way that I would go and get information about what is happening because they are very bold with their
Mm-hmm.
type of things. So I would seek that information using a different page or Googling it, like going about it a different route as opposed to allowing them to continue to have access to me. So it's not necessarily about me having access to them and being able to see. For me, it's about you're not a safe person to have access to me. I don't need to know what I'm doing outside of what I put out
Right.
because I'm very intentional about what I say and
Yes.
I don't say. I am very transparent and I'm very vulnerable and also I don't say
See what I want
everything.
you to see.
Right. You know. So yeah,
Got
that's how I follow that. What about
Yeah.
you?
Definitely block the plus. I don't need it. I don't want it. Thank you for showing your true colors.
Mhm.
I appreciate it. Um, like I definitely this whole we can't just agree to disagree.
No.
We can't just be friends. Like your political beliefs are actually like having you in relationships. Yes, yes, they are. You can't tell me that you don't care about people and expect me to be like, oh, okay, God, that's cool. Like, what? I cannot exist in a place where the cost of cheese outweighs the cost of a person.
Absolutely.
Like, I can't do it. And I'm not
Absolutely.
saying I want to pay $15 for cheese either, but if ever there's a choice between someone and
A life.
something,
Right.
I am
Right.
going to pick one.
Uh-huh.
And I just don't understand how other people can't do that. And that just makes sense to me. And it's just very interesting seeing the disagree, not disagree to agree to disagree component, and then just people that were on the other side now becoming or seeing the consequences of their actions
Mhm.
and of choosing to remain and not educating themselves or not listening to the information that's out there. It's not like it was hard to find. But for there to be examples of people searching the day after the election and cannot change my vote, or being able to say, you know, on the street interviews, be like, "Oh, the election's today. Did you vote?" And they're like, "Yeah, the lines were long. But that's just part of the process."
Oh, the election was
It was
yesterday.
yesterday. What are you talking about? Thanks for nothing. Um, so it's just that part was very disheartening to see. Um, It's just it is mind-boggling to me. Not in the sense that I'm shocked that people have the capability of doing it, but just the fact that that people aren't able to see that and say, "Hey, that doesn't make sense." That is for the greater good of anyone but a select few, and you are not in their number.
Mm. Yeah, that's the part. Because I was about to say to select few. I think a lot of people we're conditioned to live individualistic.
Mhm.
So they don't give a damn about community. They
Right.
don't give a damn about your life, right? But it's the select few and you ain't even in the select few.
Like, this is not for you. This is not for you. He don't give a shit about you. And I'm gonna say that point blank, period. He does not give a shit
It's
about
not
you.
funny, but it's wild.
It's like, how are you gonna sit there in the face of all of this information and then still be like, but he's the Christian candidate? Are you on crack? And then tout like, oh well, we have to be hard on immigration because they're criminals, and if you commit a crime, you should go to jail. That's the law. He's been convicted. Sorry, that probably like my bad.
They say he didn't do it.
Right. He's innocent. Except he said anyway.
It was the liberal left.
He said he did. Like, what are we talking about here? But anyway, what are y'all gonna what are y'all gonna do? Because it is possible. The things that you are telling yourself that are keeping you from making those plans or thinking, oh, I can be there in 6 months, I need to be there in 8
See,
months. You don't. There are places. Go on vacation. Do some work remote. Like there's so many other options. Um, but get out for a little while at least.
At least.
Um, and just dream. Dream of the you'd be surprised when you let your heart dream and it just tell you what you really need on the inside. It's gonna reveal a lot of what you think you have in the States does not exist. You're not enjoying it. I was talking to a friend and they're like, but I love it here. And I'm like, you don't go you
What
don't
does that mean?
do it in this place you can't do somewhere else for cheaper with better food, fresher food, like
More people.
more
You don't have
people.
to worry about going to the mall, the supermarket, the cinema, and possibly losing your life. Like it is. It's a
Wow.
different way of life.
Very well.
Having said that, if you are in a situation, for instance, you don't have a passport, you don't have the things. First of all, get your
Get those
behind
things.
on that they're good internet
It's the past.
and get clean, right? But in the meantime, you need to find it
Yes.
because it's going to be important for us to collective us and collective black to tap into community and make sure that you are self-sustainable, that you
Mhm.
know how to grow your own food, that you have protection. Um, so radical acceptance
Mhm.
is the thing right now, and this is a place where we really have to accept
Yeah.
what is happening, what is actually because every day a new person
A
is
new person
announced.
gets
Um,
announced with more criminal background
it is so
than the last.
interesting because people are like, "We should just sue and we should fight," and this is like he already said that protests are going to be illegal, right? So the way that you're thinking you're gonna be in the streets, this is not 2020 Black Lives Matter protest. Even then, people were being harmed protesting. This is that and okay, so radical acceptance. Say it with us. Put it in the comments. Type radical acceptance. All right. Um, and for me, radical acceptance has also been accepting what you said is that everybody's not going
Coming.
to come. And that has sat on my spirit so heavy because I feel like I really do everything that I can to show people like you don't have to accept
Right.
this, right? But that also means in not accepting what is happening that I need to accept that I need to save myself. And that's always a cognitive dissonance for me. And it
Yeah.
also kind of feels like survivor's guilt a little bit
Mhm.
because I got out and
Yeah.
I've been out, and I know that I have the privilege of already rectifying my relationship with America
Mhm.
and rectifying my relationship with myself and all of the damage and trauma that has been caused by living in a country that never gave a fuck about you ever.
Right.
So I kind of have a head start on some of this, and I find myself one getting frustrated with people who are not there, right? And that's not fair, but also
You ain't
doing
got to
you know?
stop.
But it's been hard for me to accept that there are people that I love and that I care about that are soon going to not be okay.
Yeah.
And even if that is, I'm about to say just our mental
Right.
health, but our mental health is
It,
everything.
yeah.
Um, that our brain controls every aspect of
Correct.
our body. So that is the primary thing that
Right.
we need to be protecting. Um, it's made me it it doesn't feel as heavy as it felt,
Mhm.
but it's still there, like in the back of my mind, and I'm just like,
Yeah. The deep, deep body side. Because you want it. You want it for them so bad. Like, that's why I find it interesting. like I said, like we don't have kids, you know, and even how the votes went down, if you're a man and there's some woman in your life, um, it was very hard to reconcile with how there were votes that could go against anything that would resemble health
Mhm.
for women in your lives. But then knowing like, okay, this is what it could look like. This is what I don't know. It's just so odd because everything it's not even like it's hidden,
Mhm.
and it feels weird to be explaining it to people.
Mhm.
So like, this is why this is not safe.
Mhm.
Like
But baby, them algorithms.
now, I will say, bless their hearts for the radical acceptance of Black women, Black men, 45% of white women. Like there are people that did do the work. You know, and great. Now it is time for you to hang up your cape. You
Mhm.
did what you were supposed to do for everybody else, and they did what they wanted to do. Now you have to protect yourself.
Right.
And that doesn't have to be in the place that is causing you harm.
Because guess what? You're never going to heal in a place that causes you harm. You're only going to continue to be harmed. And that, I think we know that in theory, right? And I understand when this is the only country right? So it's like, what do you mean? Go start I get it. I did it. I understand, but I wonder the same level what I want. This is why this
It's gonna be a
episode
different
is like,
country.
y'all got it, right?
Right.
It is going to be a different
It's a
country.
different
It is going to be a
to be a
different
different
country.
country.
But we don't know. We want to go out and protest and fight and that. Take all of that. Put that right here.
How do I fight for me? How do I advocate for myself? How do I set up resources so I am able to be taken care of? All of those things that you're trying to pour into everybody else that doesn't want it.
And it's not going to accept it.
Right.
How do I pour that right back here to me and the people that I care about, right? So that's the energy. That's the I keep getting confronted with, well, we can't just give up. No, you're not
You're
giving
not
up.
giving up.
You are advocating differently.
Correct.
You are doing activism differently. So that activism is y'all got it.
Right.
Y'all got it. No problem. I see the right on the wall. Y'all got it. Y'all can burn this to the ground.
And that has to happen too. I understand that as well.
But I ain't got to be there for it to happen or to see it. Okay? So do with that what you will. Receive it how you can. Spread the word. And if you are looking for a plan, strategy, what have you, you can email us at mindofmypodcastbusiness@gmail.com and we will send you a link and some things to help out. Okay. We'll help you get straight. Okay. As one of our will say.
Amen.
So having said that, I really we mentioned this is our last show for the year because we really have to shift to thinking about how to create resources for this new world that we're going to be living in. And we have the tools, we just haven't necessarily had the mental capacity I think, to sit down and bring the things into action. So that's what we gonna do. We're like, we need to put some time to take a step back, center our own mental health. 'Cause like we said, we're here and we having meetings in the kitchen like,
girl, if it wasn't for you, I would think I was crazy. Like the way people are out here in these streets having conversations and homecomings and brunches, like everything.
All of that, and that's the other thing I don't understand. Like, also, like we said, like we want y'all to join the Patreon, but also it's gonna be resources in there. But why are we going out to brunches and balling out and all of this? Do y'all not? It is November. The other day I was like, they about to go crazy for Christmas, and I don't know. All of that money that you could have, you could take that and start a new life. Yo, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on. All right. I'm off of that.
I'll be trying not to preach.
You got anything else?
I mean, so much, but no. Not outside of that vein, because I feel like that's what's been like
The main
occupying
thing.
my mind.
Yeah, gotcha. No worries. So, okay, so I do have a rabbit hole
Yes.
today that I wanted to take us down,
Let's
and it is the world of We Don't Always Agree podcast.
Mhm,
Okay, so I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. Some people like listen to podcasts all the
mhm.
time, but I have my select few, that I listen to. I got the Here's the Thing, the Gin and Juice, and this one is my recent new one. So We Don't
Yay!
Always Agree is Sterling K. Brown and his wife Ryan Michelle Bate's podcast.
Mhm.
And Ryan is my soror, so she's a Delta, and very much reminds me of myself
Uh,
because they in the store they be cussing. I just love it so much
I
because
just hear her throughout the whole show. I mean, like, deep gut laughing.
I be
And
having
I'm
a
like,
good
she's having a good time in there.
time. And Ryan, she is me. I am her. I be like, girl, you are funny. So anyway, they have I don't know maybe like 9 or 10 episodes now, but their first it's like it's a radical transparency. I live for
Mm,
that. You know what I mean? So you could tell that they not coming prepped and
right.
rehearsed and all of that. Like they sitting down, they having a conversation,
Wow.
and it is so dope. So their first one, I don't want to name which first, second, third, whatever, but
Right.
they had one where they were talking about how they met and the ups and downs that they went through. And it was funny, like watching and be like, that's not even what
That's
happened.
not how it went. Did
Um,
you watch the series Black Love?
I did, and
Because they
then
were
I
on.
stopped.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if I saw their season.
Oh, okay.
I used
Got
to watch it, and I don't know, move away
life.
or
Yeah.
something, cancel cable or something. I don't know. But yeah, I know that
Yeah.
they were on there, but they are so freaking funny. But what was so interesting is they had an episode about blackness
Uh-huh.
and how their blackness, like how they came into the understanding
Mhm.
of what it means to be black. And Ryan shared that her basically her grandmother, I don't remember if her grandmother was white or biracial, but her grandmother didn't want her dating Sterling because he was so black. And basically, you don't have black kids and that
That's
colorism
right.
whole situation and stuff. And it really made me think about how I like came to know what it meant to be black, right?
Mhm.
Because this is something that I think all of us should do. And so please participate in the comments of how you understood what blackness was and what that was meant to be. But she had a very different route to blackness because she wasn't really immersed in
Mm,
blackness.
right.
And I can identify with that
Right.
because I was not raised to be black.
Mm.
Even though my mother would say things like, "Oh, I love your pretty brown skin," and,
Mhm.
"Oh, I wish I was darker," and, like, all
Mhm.
of that, and she did always like darker men,
Yeah.
but the ways that she conditioned, whether it was how to wear your hair, how to present yourself, where the best grocery store was,
Mhm.
where the best park was, it was always attached to whiteness. The best schools,
Right.
even for high school, she wanted me to go to Ben Franklin. Them kids was off to themselves left and right over at Ben Franklin. I
Mhm.
said, "That don't sound like the life for me. I don't want
Like,
this,"
no,
right?
thank you.
So for context, in elementary school, I went to a school where all my teachers were white.
Mhm.
And I thought that teachers were white, even though Trudy was a teacher. Our
Right. Our
cousin
cousin.
was a teacher, and I used to walk there after school.
Wow.
She was my cousin. But
They never
it never
connected.
connected for me because all of my teachers were white. So it wasn't until I got to high school and I went to an all black high school
Mhm.
after I told my mom I think I actually didn't do a good job on the differential test on
On
purpose.
purpose.
I think so.
Probably.
I think I probably did that.
I tried to get
Um,
it. Because I knew it was a good school, so it
Uh-huh.
was either Franklin or McMain,
Uh-huh.
and so I got to get into one of these.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think I did that on purpose because I remember saying, if I don't get into prep, I'm just not going to high school. I don't know what I was going to do. I don't know what I was talking about, guys. Okay. I would have been taking myself, but she was at work. But I was like, I want to go to prep. Like, I want to be around Black people. We had a cousin that went there because Felicia had went there, and she was the homecoming queen. And though we didn't know her, I didn't know her. She's older than us. I knew that was my cousin, so I was like, oh wow, well that's cool. She's homecoming queen and everything. Like, man, this must be nice. So I want to go over there. So luckily, she let me go there, but that was my choice. And then for college, she wanted me to go to Xavier because Black excellence, right? Which again, Cotillions and what's that movie? The Family That Prays with Alfred Woodard and Kathy Bates. Very much upper echelon type living of things, right?
But do you think that's just relegated to the school? I just feel like New Orleans was like that. Well, you didn't come.
Did you have a W? You did? You did? Woo!
Now, don't get me to lie. It was like a friend of my mom's. It was her and her husband.
Was that
there? I don't think so. Because it was literally like I was that fam. Because remember, I graduated high school at like 17. So then I started college started at 8. So I debuted that year around like it had to have been February. I remember like Eric and I would have to come to New Orleans and like be there. I would do dance practice.
Why was I not at your baby number?
I don't remember anything but my mom and Eric. But I remember I had to quit my job at Albertsons because they wouldn't let me take off because it was around Valentine's. It was definitely in February. And so because they did it around
Mardi Gras. So that's why I was saying, was it with a crew?
It had to be.
Yeah. I did it with my school.
Okay.
That's the only way though that I was going to be able to debut because we didn't have no money. Amen. So I did it through prep. Yeah.
Wow.
But so I don't know. I don't know if it's a New Orleans thing. I don't know. I have not actively asked women that I know from New Orleans if they debut. I do feel though that can be very hoity-toity. And I also think that my mama wants to make sure I was in the hoity-toity
group,
even though we didn't have hoity-toity money. Okay, because I went to school on scholarship, being at prep scholarship, praise God, being at scholarship. Hello, look, I think this brain doesn't work. You hear me? But yeah, I did have a debutante. Wait, I don't know. I don't.
How was that yours?
Really?
I don't think so. I'm like, I can see the pictures of you.
Yeah.
But I don't think I was.
Maybe we had so many tickets.
Maybe.
I don't know. All I remember is I had the waltz.
I just remember the curtsy, like learning the curtsy and then sit down and of it all.
Oh, yeah. So far.
Yeah, there was the wall, the dance, and all the things. So very southern. I don't know.
Southern Belle type.
If this was.
I know. Even talking about look up debutante ball. That's what we're talking about. I'm making a debut and like all of that. Right. So the Blackness that I was introduced to was very much Blackness of access to assimilate to white spaces. Right. So it might be a part of the Black elite.
Right.
So they have access to whiteness. Right. It wasn't until I got to this, and again, praise the Lord for scholarship, that I even processed that there are different types of Black people. When I got to this, I thought all the people were African American, and I said something to that effect, and someone turned around and got me back together. It was like, first of all, I am from, I don't remember what country, but it was not America. So watch your mouth.
Yeah.
And then I became very much like, "Well, you're in America now." Oh, I was that person.
Yeah.
Oh, you got an accent? I don't understand what you're saying. Speak English. Like I was very
Yeah.
much.
It's delivered.
Oh, that's why I have done hard work
Right.
to deprogram all of the stuff that was put into me. I used to be so patriotic, so like, which by the way, other countries don't
Don't do that.
pledge allegiance to the
They don't
flag.
even play the anthem.
They don't play the anthem unless there's another country present. Okay, I just want the indoctrination. Okay, but yeah, I used to be super America, like never worked in the military though. 'Cause
Right.
who's fighting?
No.
But definitely was very patriotic. So it wasn't until I got to FIST that I even started to see that there were black people from other places, like an Afro Latina or Afro Latino. What are you talking about? I have no idea. There's black people that speak Spanish. What? You know, like my worldview was so limited.
That's so interesting. I was more surprised that there were white people who spoke Spanish than that there were black people.
Really?
Because I thought like Spanish speakers, Mexican, darker skin, Afro
Brown.
Colombian, like
Uh-huh.
so when I heard a white person speaking it with the perfect accent, blue eyes, like I'm like, where did you come from? Like that
I
was
can
more
see that.
surprising to me
I can see
than
that.
a brown skinned person. Yeah.
Interesting. So how did you develop your understanding of blackness? Do you remember what that
Okay.
sounded like?
I was thinking about it while you were talking, and it was very interesting because my mom was not particularly like, oh, discrimination and, creating this hyper awareness of
Mhm.
a difference.
Mhm.
There's also something to be said for living in New Orleans and understanding that it was very separate but equal
Mhm.
in our
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
we were talking about being at a parade in a city called Metairie, as kids. I had to have been like 8 or 9 maybe,
That feels about right.
something like
We
that.
were little.
Yeah, um, and like these women, we were standing at the barricade, and these women next to us were like calling us nigger, pushing us out the way,
Hard
like
ER.
active, right? So it was a thing. So even in that happening, it was more like, yeah, that's the difference. Like there's black
Mm.
people and white people and they don't like us. And
Interesting.
so that was
Really?
yeah. So I just was like, that's how it is. And that's why there's a black side of the lake and a white side of the lake. And that it's perfectly fine because if you don't want to hang out with us, great, we'll just go somewhere else. Even my experience with high school, McMain was a magnet school, but it was also at the time, if I'm not mistaken, and I hope I'm not lying to y'all, but what I remember was that it was specific of like there's extra. It was supposed
So
to be
many
so
black
many
students.
black
Yeah.
students, so many white students. Like it needed to match the community, um, and that made it even harder to get into
Uh-huh.
because it's
Was
like
only so many spots.
so many spots.
Mhm.
Um, so knowing that was like okay, um, but I never really felt like I had to like say, okay, I am black and this is what this is. Now, our grandmother was very heavily into Louis Farrakhan. And so she would have like videotapes and just as much as now she also loved what's his
What you about to say? Jimmy Swagger.
name? No.
I'm trying to remember what was on the television.
Oh my God. This Western guy. I want to say Bruce North, Chuck Norris, but that's not Chuck Norris. Clint Eastwood. She
Okay.
loved Clint Eastwood, all of his Western movies. And
Okay.
so it was a difference between either stories, I'm gonna rest this General Hospital, whatever, Clint Eastwood spaghetti westerns, or Louis Farrakhan. So like that's what I was watching with my grandmother's. So I think that probably was my actual introduction. Um,
Interesting.
but like throughout life, my mom was always very um, intentional about you just need to be the best, period. Like don't let there be a question of are you the best black girl? Like are you better than this white girl? Like you're the best, period. And that was really just kind of how I approached a lot of it. So much so that when I got to FAM, it was it was a culture shock because everybody's talking about how disadvantaged they were. And I was just like, what are you talking about? Like, you just go do. Like, you find out what the parameters are, you hit those, exceed them if you can, and there's no problem. And they're like, girl, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, our legs are broken before we start the race. And I was just like, I don't know about that. I don't feel that in my spirit at all. Like, I can do it. You know what I mean? So it was very, very different. But I also remember her saying, she's like, don't bring home no nappy headed niggas. I was like,
Wow.
and I was like, so you want me to date a white guy? And she's like, no, all people can be niggas. I was like, oh, okay. She's like, you need to be with somebody who's going to take care of you, who's going to respect you, and blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, okay, because I wasn't sure. I was like, what is this message? But I also liken it to our family. Like, we have every shade of brown, like every shade of brown. And so to me, like, there was never a question of like, it's like, oh, anybody could be black. Like, there's all these black people who look white, and I clock you. Like, you are definitely black.
Yeah, I would definitely ascribe blackness. So, like, you remember, what's her name, Rachel Dolezal? I would have had no problem believing that she was black because she was like our cousin. You know, I definitely would ascribe blackness to people that were not necessarily black. But it took me a really, really, really long time to understand the role that the government played in the shaping of black. Because I used to be afraid. I told you when I went to Louis Farrakhan gathering, I don't know what it was, but I'm gonna tell you what I was traumatized. Okay, because I had to be like 9. My brother was in a stroller, and they separated the men from the women, and there was frisking people, and it was guns, and I was like, oh my, these blacks are scary. And then I related them to the Black Panthers, who also had guns, scary, and the way that I justified the white people, because remember, like, we grew up in New Orleans, so David Duke and them used to be in the Martin Luther King parade.
Yes.
Right? Yes. But in my mind, I went to all my white people loved me. So it was like it's good whites and bad whites, and those are bad whites, and these are good whites. But white people are great. It's just they bad.
Right.
You know, so it was, and these black people, they're not, they got guns. They're out here doing things. They're not good blacks. You want to be one of the good blacks, so you can go talk to the good blacks. That was like what the programming was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah. Because I'm like, it was very different. It was like I wound up at an HBC, but it wasn't like
on purpose.
Like, oh, I need to go to. It was okay. I'm going to school away from New Orleans.
Yeah, that was
and I'm not paying for it. So these are my options. And oh, my friends are going there.
Yeah,
sounds like a plan. Sign me up.
Yeah,
I was like, oh shit.
I don't know if because I was also considering too, because it was fast, right? And I was going to medicals, right? So it is expensive, and they had only given me half of the tuition, and I was like, hello. Where's the other? And at the time, it was only $32,000, and I was like, only, and I was like, $16,000, and then I had a National Girls Scholarship for another $1,000. I was like, excuse me, what the rest of the money? Like, this ain't enough. I had scholarships to FAM, to Howard, to like Xavier, like to all of these places. So it wasn't until God bless my guidance counselor, Miss Dillon. That lady changed my life. God bless her soul. But it wasn't until Ms. Dillon made the call for Fizz, and I went to visit, and it was when I stepped foot on the campus, baby. I felt them ancestors at Fizz University. You hear me? Felt it. You talking about? I was like, oh, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. Because I had done tours. We had been to, my mom wanted me to go to Oklahoma University, for the engineering program, and I wasn't passionate about none of it. I was just like, it's fine, I'm going away. I'm freed up. But when I stepped foot on this campus, I was like, okay, this is it. Say no more.
Wow.
So that is where I started to understand Blackness and understand, like you said, the disadvantages that we have. Mind you, girl, thinking, I said, we was really poor. I'm not saying, I don't know, because
Oh,
y'all had more access than we did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. No. Yes, you had to get your food from the food bank.
we had commodities. My grilled cheese sandwiches were with
Did was
commodity
it because
cheese.
we had it, or did y'all go to the food bank to get it? I don't think y'all went. I
I
think
feel like
we gave
well,
it.
I know I went. I went with Annie. I think I went with
That's
you.
what I mean. I don't
feel
think
like
your
my mom- you don't
family.
think?
No, your mama, girl, your mama was a nerd.
I don't know. I felt like we had no money.
You
I
had
felt like
money.
you had money.
Oh,
Well, you're my first car. And I also went on vacation, like,
my daddy.
and I went with you. Like, I went with you to do stuff.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel like there was anything happening at my house. Like if there was something I wanted, yes, my mom would work and like budget to get it, but it wasn't a like just no big deal. Like no,
That's so funny. We maybe post 9 years old, there was
okay,
more money of
money.
sorts. Right. So once we moved into a house
Yeah.
and like all of that. But baby,
Because I'm like, I literally have reduced lunch. We couldn't get free lunch. I remember my mom
we couldn't
complaining
get free
about
lunch
that. I
here.
remember her talking about that. Like we couldn't get free lunch, but I definitely had reduced lunch. I went to public school. Like there was no. I went to public
I was
school.
on scholarship.
Let me see. Yeah, like now I did. She would do like the summer camps and stuff like that.
Never been to summer camp. No, I'm not. I went to summer camp, but it was academic. It was
I mean,
academic
yeah,
summer
those
camp.
too,
And I
like
was
piano and like. So I did both of those. I did like the summer camp, like science and math camp, and actual summer camp where you swam and learn lines. But like, um, but I don't know. I felt like Kim had money. I felt like they always had food in the house. I felt like they always had cable.
I think it was the cable.
Girl had TVs in the car. Like,
Well, yeah, my dad. So I found out later on in life that my dad, and if so, my dad is my stepdad. If you want to know why I say that, go to KimberlandJackson.com, read that blog. But my dad went to school for electrical engineering. So we always had like he
everything
would go
hooked up.
everything was
Everything was hooked up. The music, what you need. If it had a plug, he was gonna make it work, and it was gonna be phenomenal. Okay, period. Period.
I never forget that he went to school for that. And so I don't even know what we were talking about. Maybe I was talking about Hurricane Katrina. Because even for Hurricane Katrina, they had lights in their room because he
I
went
don't
and took
doubt
the
it.
car battery out and made sure they had lights and the video game.
Sounds about right. Because they were playing video games in their
In the
blazer.
car. Yeah, on the way to
On the way to
Panama City.
Panama City when they were on vacation every year and stay near the beach. Like we just walked across the street to go to the beach. Okay, so I stayed home by myself, a block away from the second project. I'm just everything in New Orleans is a block away from a project. I'm not gonna do my mama like that. Like we were like, but yeah, no. I definitely thought, like, yeah.
I have so much to process here. This is interesting. Because I feel like the older I grew up, like I feel like there were times that we would have to like share swimsuits and panties and like all that kind of stuff. That's how people don't be doing that. Like everybody has their own. I can't decide.
We made it work.
Oh,
We were a
Jesus.
resourceful family.
Definitely. Definitely.
100%. But yeah, sorry, I completely derailed whatever point you were going
I
to.
don't know. I don't even remember. I don't even remember, but it's okay. That was funny. So anyway, yeah, we were talking about blackness and what that looks like. So I'm interested to y'all who are watching how you developed your concept and understanding of blackness. I used to very much also be like a blackness gatekeeper because
Mm.
I used to be like, you don't do that. It's not black. That's
Oh.
what child. I don't let all that go because I guess I'm just realizing it's the box. Take me out the
I don't wanna be
box. Take me out the box
like,
and
the
let me take people
experience is
out.
so much bigger if you can be it all.
Correct.
You can be it all.
Correct.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, if you all have not seen what's it called again? We don't always agree. Go check out the podcast. They have some really interesting topics.
Cool.
And I think I saw one of the ones they just recently had was like healthy at any size. And then there was another one they were talking about like being on the red carpet
No,
and
no.
stuff.
Oh, I think
And
I heard that was in the back.
that's the one I was really laughing at because I can relate.
Mm.
Um, there's something to there's fame, a lot of I don't know, people subscribe to wanting to have fame, and
Mhm.
you don't realize how much you have to give up to have fame. And it's interesting of how you have to put protections in place for
Mhm.
someone to be a person who has higher visibility. Like I would never want your level of fame. I really
Yeah.
don't. And because you lose the ability to just be, and it's why
Unapologetic.
right
You can be it, but you're gonna be apologizing
right.
and dealing with whatever repercussions come from it. So
Correct. So what I appreciate is that they're kind of like taking their voices back. And
good.
I'm all about using your voice
Yeah.
and sharing your lived experiences, and they're doing it in a way that is so refreshing, and they're being themselves, and you
Mhm.
can tell. So I just really appreciate it. So shout out to Shirley K. Brown
Oh,
and my
wow.
cohort, Brian Michelle Boston, and their podcast. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been cracking up
Half
about in
the
the room.
length. Okay.
It's been a really, really, really good time. So yeah.
It's just that
So yeah.
very good. I haven't really had a lot of rabbit holes. I've been trying to just figure out what this next stage of like working and what my brain people need to be focused on and feeling like the days are passing really, really quickly. And I'm like, okay, am I making traction? Am I
Mhm.
getting something done? Um, but yeah, so I did go down one tiny rabbit hole with the hummingbirds. Um,
What'd you find out?
just because I told y'all it was ladybugs, but now it's hummingbirds. And so I was like, okay, maybe I'll be intentional about having them attracted to the balcony and hang out or
Oh,
whatever.
rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Tell me what you discovered.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go look and see how I can make this a welcoming space for hummingbirds so they can come every day, not just when like God sends them to send me a message, right? So I said, okay, I need to get a hummingbird feeder. So I'm like, all right, cool. I go to Amazon because it delivers to Colombia. I go to Amazon and I'm like, hummingbird feeders. I see all these pretty feeders. They have this gorgeous like glass one. It's blue, and I'm like, oh, that's gonna look great out there. Awesome. So then I was like, you know what? Let me just head on over to the TikTok. Y'all better get all your TikTok in while you can. Um, Head over to TikTok and see what they say about how to take care of attract hummingbirds. So immediately I get all the like caution, like be careful. Well, first you want to make your own solution, so it's sugar water, right? But you got to be careful because if you leave it too long, it's going to ferment, and then they're going to get drunk and then not live. I'm like, oh my god, what? And then you got to clean it, every other day, once a week, if it's not summertime, because then they can get this fungus that can cause their tongue to swell, can't swallow, and they die. And I'm like, hold up, relax. This is supposed to be fun. Like, this is supposed to be so I can be the little real Snow White, and the birds can come and sit on the balcony with me, and we can just hang out.
In the morning.
I'm not trying to kill all the hummingbirds.
Oh my god.
So, like, maybe I'll just look at the plants that hummingbirds are attracted to, and we might go there. So, I think that's my next
Okay.
iteration. So, that was
Because I think butterflies too.
true, and
And
they are butterfly garden.
uh,
So,
yeah, I was putting a couple plants out yesterday. I planted some more cilantro and what else? I planted the mint.
mhm.
But we have some flower seeds in
Oh,
there. So maybe we do. We'll see. You had mentioned going to IKEA, so
Oh yeah,
maybe.
they have IKEA here too in Colombia.
We need a petty
I'm saying, y'all, America does not have the monopoly on convenience.
IKEA is not
We
even
get,
American.
like it's in America, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, they have IKEA there." Yes, McDonald's, Burger King, IKEA. We get our nails done. I
Oh
got
my
my nails done
gosh.
out here. Like,
Our nail artist. This is the last
oh,
time we're gonna say we're gonna go, y'all. We just sit here
we
chit
just
chat.
talk.
Uh,
we just talking. Sorry, not sorry. That's what we do.
our nail artists are so amazing. They really, we walk up in there and she like, okay, so much.
Got 3, 4 Pinterest pictures as inspiration.
We kind of want to mash up, but and they make it happen. And it
Every
is
time.
so much fun.
And we get to learn Spanish, and they get to learn English. And we have an amazing time.
It's
It's so fun.
It's the
So
best.
fun.
So yeah. So listen, you're probably saying to yourself, "This is wild. How did we get here?" And that's what we want you to do is go back to episode 1. We started this podcast at the beginning of the year. We want you to go back to episode 1 and see the journey. We started out virtually and then we moved here to in person. We had a whole bunch of sound issues.
Jesus.
But we get together as real improvement. We have our list of artists. I, Couples, we have here. We have more artists that's going to be added to our wall of our set. And
Yes.
we have a lot of improvements that we want to make when we come back in January.
And-
Get your appreciation now for the beginning. See, because y'all are in the ground floor of you understand. This is only episode 16. And it's really up from here.
Sweet 16. Chapter 2. They go just. I didn't
No problem. Tell the people you can find you.
say. She done. You can find me out in the internet streets on Instagram at Kawana Bear, AAWAAEAR. I have made it public. I've been private forever. I was off that for a long time. Anyway, you can also find me on YouTube under Minding My Black Ass Business in the Content Kalonda playlist, where you will see me out and about enjoying the life in Medellin. Includes cigars, smoking, going to sports bars, life that happens here. Where else can you find me? You can find me on Cash App, favorite place, $ Kalonda, KALONDA, and the best place ever, right here. Unlock.
So you can find me as well at Minding My Podcast Business on all platforms. We do have merch. And we are going to be releasing some new merch for Friday. So go to mindmypodcastbusiness.com and get yourself a t-shirt, a little beanie or something, a mouse pad, it's all kinds of stuff over there. Also, KimberlandJackson.com and at Kimberland J on Instagram is where you can find me. And on Cash App, you can also find me at Cash App Kimberland Jackson. That's KimberlandJackson. And I have been receiving some Cash App gifts out of nowhere. It has been such a blessing. It really has.
Honest
We got rent.
We have bills. I had somebody tell me I didn't have bills the other day. I was like, that is it? All right. I have bills.
Yeah.
Those don't go away, but they are less in certain cases. But they still exist.
So every dollar, it really does count. Every dollar that you all are able to use to support us really does count, and we greatly appreciate that. And again, if you are like, "Oh, I'm gonna miss y'all so much," y'all don't be don't worry. can come hang out with us on Patreon. Okay, patreon.com/minding my podcast business. It's only $5 a month. Other than that, you can binge us. You can go back to episode 1 and you can watch all the things, because this is what I want you to know is that we are on the way to 1,000 subscribers. I think this morning I looked at 808. So we're 192 subscribers away from 1,000. So if you have not already subscribed to Minding My Podcast Business, please go do that. Please like the video, comment, subscribe, share it. All of those things are free,
Yes.
and they help us deeply. All right. So if you are like things giving coming up and y'all gonna be cooking and stuff, just have it on in the background.
Let it play in the background.
Okay.
You don't even have to put your eyeballs on it.
And
We funny when you just listen to it.
which is another thing that will be coming back the next week. And we will have our audio options for those of you who might be distracted by our beauty and want to be able to hear the message. So then you'll be able to just have the audio option as well. So we'll be on podcast platforms. So having said that, we'll be back in 2025. We wish y'all
Feliz Navidad.
all the holiday seasons that are up. Please do take time for yourself to figure out what's happening in your spirit. Again, if you are looking to get some support, with creating a new life, please do reach out to us at mindingmyblackbusiness@gmail.com, and we can help you. Other than that, we'll see y'all out here in the next. Okay,
passport.
Get your passport. And yeah, so I think that's it. Oh, you got anything else? That's all. Bye.
Bye.